Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. TJ told me not to stream because there's Champions League games on. I didn't realize I was here for views. I mean, I stream when it's convenient to me, not when it's convenient to YouTube. Okay. If there's Champions League games on and people want to watch Barcelona versus Olympiacos, by all means, brother, I don't give a shit. But I'm streaming so that I get my thoughts out of my head so that I don't think about football for the rest of the day. It's that simple. It's that simple. It's very easy. It's very therapeutic. It's very cathartic. And then once I get all my thoughts out, I don't have to actually watch anybody because I don't need to think about the team anymore. I don't need to think about the game anymore. Once I get my thoughts out of my head, I can just leave it be. I could just leave it be. I could just be at peace. I could just be ends. Listen, I actually had planned on going live anyway. And then I popped in to say hello to Jamie and them. And then that ended with me going on that stream. So I'm not going to throw away what I already planned to do. Especially not going to throw away with what I already planned to do because of Barcelona versus Olympiacos. That would be crazy. He didn't run from my debate. I'm actually texting him. I'm going to send him the link, and we're going to see if it'll work here, so that we can have our discussion. Because now that we're in my zone, now that we're in my territory, you see this channel, this is my home stadium. Now that I'm here, I get to display all the evidence I want, guilt-free, because we operate on my time. We operate on my time here. So if you don't have my time, that's all good. That's all good. But I like to break things down. I like to provide evidence. I like to provide visuals for people because I don't want to just say words. I want to show you what I'm saying. The best way to get to somebody is to make them use their eyes and their ears. So that's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to talk about the Liverpool question mark. Is it Liverpool? Is this Liverpool? We're going to talk about that team versus Frankfurt tomorrow. We're going to break down a little bit what everyone's been talking about around this club so far. But first and foremost, I'm going to try to get James the link. Here we go. Jimmy James. Here's the link. Let's give it a try. Because at least here, we can have a conversation and I can show him. And then he could show me, well, what does he think? But big up yourself. Big up yourself. Either way, it's October 21st, 2025, and I'm in an identity crisis. I don't know what a Liverpool fan is. I don't know what Liverpool is. I don't know what a Liverbird is. You know, I found myself watching that game against United, and I was listening to the fans singing, right? I mean, I know that the fans only sung for like 5 minutes of that game, but there was one moment where they're singing the Liverbird song, a team that plays the Liverpool way and wins the championship in May. I remember hearing that and straight up out loud to no one because I watch games alone. I literally said, "What the fuck is the Liverpool way? Why are we singing this? Can someone explain to me what the fuck is the Liverpool way today, October 21st, 2025? What is the Liverpool way?" I don't see a Liverbird on anyone's chest. I don't see a team that wins the championship in May, and I sure as shit don't see a team that's playing the Liverpool way because I don't know what the Liverpool way is right now. It was like an existential moment during that game. I also got to say, listen, the crowd. Bro, we went down in 62 seconds in the game, and there was just like no energy. None. The crowd only woke up when we scored a goal. And then it immediately went quiet when we conceded one. It's like, I don't know if it's tourists. I don't know if it's just old heads. I don't know if people just don't have enthusiasm anymore. Bro, if I traveled from across, if I got on a flight and I went to Liverpool and I went to Anfield, I don't care what my seat is. A, I'm not sitting down. B, I'm not shutting up. And if a steward comes over to me and says, "Sir, you have to sit down and be quiet so that other people can enjoy the game," I'd respectfully tell it to shove it up his ass. I paid $1,000 fucking dollars to be here. I'm not going to stop making fucking noise. I'm not going to shut up. I'm not going to sit down. I'm going to fucking scream and sing the whole fucking game. I just don't think that that's a mentality people have, probably because they're spoiled. I think Liverpool fans have become a little spoiled. And you see it during games like Southampton. You see it. We used to only see it against small teams where the crowd would go quiet and then people would push it off and they'd say, well, how do you expect people to get excited about playing Southampton at home? But now you see it against United. That's a problem. I take major issue with that. The crowd is just not involved in the game at the current moment. The difficult reality to allow to set in. No control and no instruction, just relying on individual brilliance. You're not wrong. We are playing the Viagra way. Except it's not the Viagra way, it's the vagina way. It's a good thing we're not monetized. I have a couple of things that I'm going to bring up visually for you guys. But let's just unpack a little bit, 5-10 minutes, what people have been talking about. People have been saying, post Manchester United, what the problems are at Liverpool Football Club. There have been a good amount of people who have been highlighting these issues for longer than 4 games, for longer than 12 games. There have been people who have been highlighting this issue for 9 fucking months. The fundamental difference between the Liverpool today and the Liverpool in January is that A, we saved more chances we conceded, and B, we were more clinical. That's it. In my opinion, those are the differentiating factors between what Liverpool was and what Liverpool is now. Nothing to do with style of play, nothing to do with anything else other than we were more clinical. That's it. I'm not watching these games and thinking I'm just not creating enough chances. I'm just texting James. I'm not watching these games and thinking to myself, we're creating, far more or far less chances. I'm just watching these games and I'm saying we're just not clinical in the moments that we get. But they feel like the same moments that I had last season. Now, to highlight this, we're gonna go back to January and we're gonna look at some of the results that not just Liverpool had, but Arsenal had as well, right? Because it was a title race between Liverpool and Arsenal. Not Liverpool and Liverpool. But people want to say, hey, let's not revise. Let's not revise. Okay. I won't revise. I will provide fucking proof to you. Here we go. Oh, and James is here. James is here. Okay.
Yes. So far, all right. You know what I mean?
Okay. This is money. Yeah, big up,
money.
James. I appreciate you being here.
Thanks for having me. I think it might be me genuinely not condescending, like one of my most anticipated shows I think I've ever done. Honest to God. Because for those who don't know, chat, right, and big up everyone, smash the likes, of course. Like, me and Mike have had, Mike has messaged me after games. And when we were winning, I was saying to you, Mike, I was like, oh, come on, mate. Like, we're not going to play this bad for this long. Come on, it's going to get better. It's got no better. And we've got worse and we've been losing games. And like, even the other day, I had to message him and be like, right, no, I do get where you're coming from. And do you know what, Mike? I always did. I just always felt, and this is how I stand with a lot of fans now, it's over the top, sort of. That's
Yeah.
why this conversation has been needed on a platform instead of like WhatsApp text messages.
Yeah. Listen, to everyone who doesn't know, I text James all the time. And sometimes it'll be like I text him 6 times and he doesn't respond. And sometimes it'll be he texts me 6 times and I don't respond. But it's pretty much just after every game, I'll go back and I'll basically make a couple sly comments. And listen, we have our disagreements, but I feel that our fundamental, like we both want the same thing. We both want
100%.
to see Liverpool at their best.
Yeah.
But to continue with my train of thought, which I think will lead into what James mainly wanted to argue with me on Jamie Phillips's show. We're gonna pull up Liverpool's results beginning from January of last season, and we're gonna do a side-by-side comparison with Arsenal. And I remember all of these games, right? So let's start with Liverpool versus Manchester United, a 2-2 draw. Not a good performance. Harry Maguire missing a sitter at the end of the game to win, much like this past game. Liverpool also had their chances, but that same week, Arsenal drew to Brighton. So we may have dropped points, but so did Arsenal. And this is a consistent theme that you will continue to see. Fast forward, Liverpool draw to Nottingham Forest 1-1. On the same day, January 15th, Arsenal win. So Arsenal get 2 points back, right? But as you'll see, the common motif here is that there's always a give and take between the two clubs. Regardless, this is just based off results. The next time we drop points, that's Champions League, that's Prem, Champs. Where's the next one? Everton. The 2-2 to Everton. On February 12th, the 2-2 to Everton, Arsenal pick up another 2 points against us, right? But then I believe this was a game in hand scenario. At one point, there was a game in hand. Arsenal lose to West Ham. That's February 22nd. And on February 16th, we won and then we drew. So basically, it's like we can look back and we can say Liverpool were getting points. We were getting the job done. But at the same time, I have to say at every possible moment that Arsenal had to capitalize, they dropped points. I mean, the loss here, a draw here, a draw here. That's 2 points out of 9 that Arsenal could have had between February 22nd and March 9th. And it's just, to me, like, outside of the PSG game, I think you have to view PSG in its own, like, that's its own sphere. That was the best club in the world at the time. The first leg was a drastic contrast to the second leg. We were the better side second leg. They were the better side first leg. And then, of course, we won the league. Where's the Tottenham game? Right here. So,
but the majority of the work had already been done. Exactly.
And then after we won the league, lose, draw.
Yeah, I didn't like that. Like, I know it was a joke, and I lent into the joke. I think after the Chelsea game, I believe it was the first of the bad run. I lent into the joke of like, oh, the boys are pissed and whatever. But no, I started getting really frustrated about them results towards the end of last year.
It's just, to me, I remember constantly going on streams, and whether it was Enz's call-in or it was Husam's show, and I would say, I don't like the 4-2-4. I don't like the way we're trying to build up out of our own half. I don't like how vulnerable we look on transition. I think it's because of the 4-2-4. People would basically just say, well, we're winning and we just won the league. So what are you crying about? But then fast forward 6 months, and first 5 games, we're running the 4-2-4. We're actually taking the lead because we're being clinical, but then the signs start to show because we give up the 2-0 lead consistently. What was it? 5 straight games we gave up a 2-0 lead. And now that we've actually lost games, people want to have the conversation. So I think, just my personal opinion before I let you go off, my personal opinion is that the root causes have been the same from January to now. We've just changed the numbers on the back of the shirts. We've changed the name on the back of the shirts. And if we were being clinical, some of these results would have gone our way, but the root cause would have remained the same. The root issue would have remained the same. And you're basically saying that individual moments of brilliance is going to be what wins us the league. It worked last year, but also Arsenal were poor. This year, Arsenal have conceded 1 goal from open play in 8 games. It looks like they might not even concede 20 goals. So I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be the same thing this time around.
Yes. So I think it's important that we establish on what we agree on, just so, because again, the audience
Yeah.
aren't privy to our WhatsApp conversation. So like what I agree with you on, and I think it's fair that you've been on a boat of watching underwhelming football, according to your opinion, and you've held this view even while we were winning football matches. Now we're losing football matches. A large portion of the fans are just basically saying what you've been saying. So it actually verifies what you've been saying. The difference is they're doing it off the back of bad results. So I understand your frustration. You've set an opinion based on the substance of what you've seen. You've then seen the results start to turn over and looked at all of us and gone, well, how can you be surprised? This was kind of building from the turn of the year. And that is where an agreement can be reached, because I agree, since the turn of the year, the drop-off was quite clear. I do think there's external circumstances to it, but that doesn't mean that it's all off Arne Slot's. That doesn't mean that he gets away with it completely. Then you transition into the end of the season. From when you win the league, notoriously, there's been some massive drop-offs from other teams who have won the league. I think it was Roy Keane who, on Twitter, he put out saying Liverpool are embarrassing the way they've reacted since they won the league. But there was a year where Man United won the league. Roy Keane started all the games after it happened and they lost them all. So I just thought there is historical evidence to say data says teams drop off slightly after winning a league. I can let that slide. Then I break that up completely. I don't say we've been bad from the turn of the year, because I think maybe unlike you, see some significant changes that have been made from, say, March to May, then from the beginning of this season to now. Drastic things, I think, have been changed in the team, such as in the build-up, such as on the back foot, that have been at a detriment. But I think also, unlike you, I see where it's aiming to go. And that sounds like such severe copium to a whole nother level. But for me, I do see a shape, and I see what Arne Slot's trying to do. He's trying to make it, without going into the intricacies of what he's trying to do, ultimately, he's trying to make it more specific, isn't he? He's trying to be a bit too much of a perfectionist in some people's eyes. But once the players do get established with the training drills of what the new set, because bear in mind, Mike, you've gone from a team just pressing, and that's the club's identity, to now we're transitioning to more on the ball, maximising moments, killing teams off, and then at the end of the game it falls short. You look like you might disagree with that, and if so, feel free to interject.
I'm gonna counter you on one point.
Go for it. 1 second. I'll be off camera, but I'll be listening.
No, all good. I think that this idea that we have been a pressing team, I think it's a little bit. There's a lot of people ignoring some details about how we would press. In my personal opinion, under Jurgen Klopp for 10 years, we were a counter-pressing team. And there's a stark difference between a counter-press and pressing a back line. Right now, the way that teams play Liverpool, they don't press us. They operate in a mid-block. They put 5 in the center of the park, and they don't put direct pressure onto Virgil or Ibrahima Konate. They allow them to have the ball. They clog up the lanes, and they ensure I'm outnumbering you in the middle. If I outnumber you in the middle, even if your guy gets the ball and he gets dispossessed, you have no ability to counterpress me because everyone is ahead, right? The ball is behind the whole Liverpool team, and the opposition has 4 players in between our whole team and our back 3. So I've completely eliminated the counterpress, which is what I feel Jurgen Klopp built this club on. Right now, I do agree we play differently. I don't agree with Arne Slot saying that other sides have decided to play us differently, and that's why we're changing. That's why the results aren't going our way. We have a stark difference in the way that we play versus the beginning of last season. And I'm going to pull up the Manchester United game away and show you a little bit of visual evidence of how we were building up then. I can show you Bilbao and how we were building up against Bilbao, which was starting 11 versus starting 11 in the preseason. And then I can show you what we did on Sunday. And what we did on Sunday is exactly what we did against Chelsea. And it's exactly what we did against Crystal Palace. And it's exactly what we did against Galatasaray. And it's exactly what we did against Southampton, which Southampton, guys, just letting you know, if there was VAR, Chiesa's offside. So we might have won that game, but it took a goal at the death to beat a championship side that missed 2 open goals and hit the post. So I do agree that the press isn't there, but also it was the counter press that was really our, what's the right word? Like, that was our sword. The sword was the counter press. The regular press, it is what it is. There was a clip that I was going to show of Bruno Fernandes's chance, because before Bruno Fernandes's chance, Dominic Szoboszlai's pressing, and our press looks like it's all over the place, and then Dalot plays a diagonal into Ahmad, and then Ahmad drives into the box. But when he cuts inside in the box, like, I don't have an issue with that whole sequence of play, because you've cut me open with one long pass, and I'm fine with that. And for the most part, the transition D was there. McAllister just overcommits after Ahmad cuts inside. The shot would have been blocked. There was no other option. And because McAllister bites, he plays in Bruno Fernandes, who gets the opportunity. But either way, I'm digressing now. The fundamental difference is I think that we were a counter-pressing team. All of our best pressing moments were shortly after we were dispossessed. And because of how compact our structure was under Jurgen Klopp, offensively in the opposition box, we were able to win the ball back, or we were able to put pressure on in order to force a mistake. And so now, because the structure is so loose, like, here, I'll pull this up.
Yeah, sorry, Mick. Someone was at my door, so I have missed roughly 2 minutes of what you said. So, like, if you can summarize.
Basically, what I'm saying is that we were never this, like, we are going to press the shit out of your back line. We are a counter-pressing team. I'm going to make sure that my structure is compact, and if I lose the ball, I have enough players around me to suffocate it, right? And then you started to see that go towards the end of Jurgen Klopp's tenure, because we started to play this more possession-based football. We were a little bit more spread out. That's why we looked really good with 10 men under Klopp, because we would condense, right? We started to spread, and then the counter-press sort of left, and now, there is no counter press because we don't have any sort of tight structure in the opposition half. And so if they win the ball, guess what? Bruno, you got like 10 yards to run. Or Dalot, you got like 10 yards to run. Or Nathan Semenyo, you have 70 yards to run with the football. I do agree, but in the same sense, I think it's 2 different kinds of pressing. And I think that we don't allow ourselves to counter press because of the way that we play.
Yeah. So, like, it's the mirroring of, okay, we saw transition from the end of Klopp. We then saw that further continue under Slot in his first season. I then think, and again, I never heard the first 2 minutes of what you said there, but based on your summary, like, I see it as, yes, these are little tweaks right now, but you know what it is for me, Mick? I think it's a case of, I really think it's a case that because there's been this drastic change in the style, and I do think it is drastic. I do think going from all-out pressing to then you've got to have trigger pressing, and that's off the ball. And then on the ball, you're thinking about the overloads, and we're no longer intending to maximise the fullbacks the way we did before. Now everything it is intended to be overloads, isn't it? It's meant to be over the top and into the front four. And the reason why I have faith in the fact that we can improve this is because it appears to be drilling problems for me. I just think the reason why we're seeing both, because even when the spells you're talking about where we were underwhelming, we still had some star players performing. And even now, they're not. And that tells me if the new players are struggling and the old players are struggling, it says the system's disjointed for sure. But I think where I'm standing on is where this system can go. And I suppose that's where I'm asking you, what is it about the system you are unsure about? Is it the long-term sort of...
I'm happy you asked, James.
I'm happy you asked.
I'm happy you asked. I'm gonna show you a couple of stills. Great. I'll show you one. I'm going to show you one from the game. I have like 7 from the game. I was as the game was going, I was just typing up the minutes. Exactly. So this is the 6th minute of the game. Right?
Yes.
This is the structure that we're deciding to have with Ryan Gravenberch on the ball. This is exactly how I thought United would set up. And this is, I'm not just for the sake of time, but this is exactly what Chelsea did. Gravenberch has the ball. If he loses it, of course I'm screwed. I'm dead. I'm dead in the water because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players ahead of my whole team. I've got 5 guys occupying the same space. I've got Mo Salah making a run for some reason. Isak's also making a run for some reason. Szoboszlai is in McAllister's space. Cody Gakpo is in Alexander Isak's space.
Yeah.
Kirkes is over here who just played the ball. This kind of structure is just insanity to me. And then we can see the same thing here, right? Like when this is the build up to Alexander Isak's chance. Gravenberch has the ball. He's going to play it to Konate. As he plays it to Konate, just watch the rest of the team. Everyone else is moving with the ball. Like, who is presenting themselves as an option? Why is Szoboszlai, like, why are they both essentially in the same area? Szoboszlai is basically where a traditional striker would be, and Isak is ahead of where a traditional striker would be. There's no one occupying the center, and there's a whole here.
Sorry, Mick, can you just show me the start of that clip again, just when the ball's played and when the team starts to move over?
Yeah. So Gravenberch first plays it, and immediately here, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Manchester United players ahead of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the entire attack of the team. This is Connor Bradley, this is Konate, this is Gravenberch, and this is Virgil. I believe Kirkes is off the screen over here. So, but like I see this every time we try to build up, right? And then Konate, praise him. He decides to say, you know what? I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this all game. Plays a beautiful pass, and then we all know how that ends up. But, just the overall structure here of how we're trying to build up is so starkly different to this against the same Manchester United away. All of a sudden, there's some sort of compactness here. I've got 1, 2, 3 guys. I might have 3 at the back, but they're very close together. And I've got 1, 2 right in front of them. So automatically, we're going man for man here. 6, but he's not really involved in the play. I got 5 on 5. Stark difference. And this is what I see every game. Every game I see the still of where Konate was. In fact, that's exactly what it looked like when Konate made the pass that led to the injury of Allison. But
No, so what I was going to say there, I'm that second still image is from our 3-0 win at Old Trafford.
Yeah.
So,
this was
earlier. So that's why I think the transition of where we was in that point of the system was far more clear and also far more simple to understand. As you said, the players are there, they're drawing into the positions. So that first still's interesting for me because what I'm intrigued by, I didn't look at the minute or anything, but I understand.
This one?
Yeah. The first one, what minute is that one? Sorry, the one where you showed the players going to the other side of the pitch.
Oh, yeah. Hold on.
Yeah. This one. So that's 30. So yeah, we're talking about that many sorts of things into the game. For me, what I am seeing there is a team trying to basically create the space for the overload by going to the side and the side. It's not a great look when it hasn't quite paid off yet, but I've seen Pep Guardiola also establish this type of football in spells at Manchester City, where he is trying to create those overloads. Enrique's done this quite a lot at PSG as well. Now, the execution of the way we're doing it, I don't think has been anywhere near the standard where you look at it and you go, you know what, we're sorted with this way of playing. But I do think that way of playing can be improved. That specific still, you don't want to be seeing that throughout a whole 90 minutes. But I do think periodically throughout a game, it isn't always harmful to go with the alternative approaches such as that. And I think that's why metric-based stats, which I've looked at, and I've looked at, sort of what metrics should be prioritized. I've looked at, the XG element of things and how much that's dropped. And we're talking very minimal in a team that's not gelled at all, clearly. That's why on the build-up side of things, I'm not too discouraged as much as other people. My concerns, my main red flags come with the defence and the adjustments that I think need to be made with the defence. Because our issue at the moment, Mike, I'm sure you'll agree, is actually converting the chances. And when we're not converting these chances, I'm not being funny, our game management just hasn't been good enough from the player side of things. I think some of their edge go. I think the manager makes some questionable decisions from that point forward. But I think overall, you've got to look at it in its context. if we miss 2 or 3 solid chances, you're then going to have 10 minutes where it shifts back into the other team's favour in terms of momentum. There's always spells a game where you're going to be on the back foot. And for that reason, you get to a stage where your head's gone. And that's why you might have seen it on Jamie's show earlier. You know, I've mentioned a lot about the mental fragility of the team at the moment and how that's quite evident in what we're seeing. And that if it's a hurdle that can be overcame, I think the fruits of that can be very, very good. And the main points I wanted to pull up, I did have it. See, because I've got like this document thing where like of things I want to talk about the structure. Yeah. And the main things that I pulled out is this. So I've kind of listed the defensive flaws. I've then put the underlying cause in slot system, like what's the cause of this issue in slot system, and then the datametric evidence next to it. So firstly, the set pieces, so the set piece concessions, the structural problem of making multiple offensive substitutions. We make all these substitutions to go and win these games because the narrows of this margin, you're going to see some set piece fragility, which we saw against Crystal Palace, for instance. And that is one of the issues that long term I don't foresee being continuous. For instance, even Slot himself admitted that the set piece structure, it's not as great. It weren't as great as last season. Even the second half, even the second half of last season, it's just not been great. So that's why, like, when I think about we've conceded 4 goals from set pieces, I think this year. Clearly not good enough. But the fact the manager's speaking about this and the fact that I am seeing zonal improvements when it comes to our set piece defending tells me, okay, we might be able to erase that area sooner rather than later. That's for me. And because the manager's speaking about it, persisting on this idea, and he's not saying what we're doing is correct. So it's quite clear. It's not the manager that wanting this to happen, you know. That was the first thing on the set pieces. Then you've obviously got the vulnerability to the long balls and the fast breaks. So it's like the
this is the one I want to talk about.
Yeah, man. So like what I've put here, I've wrote it like this: the high defensive line and the new calculated pressing triggers. When the press fails, there's a large exploitable space where the fullback, behind the fullbacks and the double pivot. So McAllister and Gravenberch, then you've got the opponents like Man United, for instance, labelled as the long ball team, or explicitly targeting this space. And De Ligt even said it after the game, didn't he? He's like, we know where they're weak. And then the Slot then admits conceding goals from fast breaks and long balls. The team are facing a high volume of long balls compared to last season. So again, it tells me that's a teething issue. It's not the set in stone way we want to go. Go on.
So here's where I'm going to disagree.
Go on.
I believe so. Yes, the root is correct, but the cause is separate in my mind.
Yeah.
When we listen, 99% of the goals we concede is because we give away the ball in the opposition half, and the structure behind us fails. The structure behind us fails because of something like this, right? Again, this is a still from the 30th minute, but this is the kind of structure I see all the time. First and foremost, there's a giant just donut hole in the middle of the park. Second, let's just say someone up here did get the ball. Let's just say somehow we got the ball to somewhere up here, and then someone up here loses. Automatically, I'm leaving myself either equal or outnumbered in transition. That's a stark difference from what we had. If you go back and you remember the winter 2024, before the turn of the year, we got transitioned against, but every time we did, we had an equal amount of people back because the structure was there in possession. So I do think teams are killing us with one ball over the top, but that's because we're leaving so much space open for the way that we decide to play. Another thing I'm going to show here is you were talking about overloads before. I think that Liverpool's version of an overload right now is this. I mean, this is diabolical. Like,
I don't know if that's the best example. I think we've had better overloads than that on a consistent basis.
I'm just what I see consistently when Cody Gakpo gets the ball is what I'm looking at here. And I saw this all against Chelsea. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 players occupying the same 5-yard space. I mean, when you play this compact, when you play this loose, but you're compact in a certain area, but it's far away from the ball, you condense the defense and make it super easy. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 players in between Cody Gakpo and our 4 attackers. Like the fact that I keep seeing this over and over. I saw it against Galatasaray, Crystal Palace. Like, it's very concerning because it's a pattern. I think that if these were just isolated moments that happened in individual games, I would be of a different stance. But because no matter who we play, I see the same thing, that concerns me. And then given a situation like that, if Cody Gakpo is to lose the ball there, I mean, you have what? I'm like 1, 2, 3. I've got 7 players in the opposition box, all in bad positions, which then leaves me to a Antoine Semenyo scenario. And this is the Premier League, bro. Like, if Brian Mbeumo gets that ball, he can make a run and score. If Semenyo gets that ball, he can make a run and score. So it's just, I just think that the defensive structure's fragility comes from the incompetence of the offensive structure, and it goes hand in hand. The way
So
you
think
play
the
in
offensive
possession
structure is causing a lot of our defensive fragility?
I think it's all connected in my. I mean, that's just the way I view
you're
football.
right.
I think
You're spot on. I won't even contest that one bit. Yeah, so you're not wrong. I think as well, if you're going to look at everything in its current moment, so do we agree that like there is systematic differences between like September and
yes,
August
100%.
and now than the end of last season?
Drastic.
And that's why I think a lot of the things that appear to be unnatural isn't supposed to be the permanent. I do think it is supposed to be, right, okay, once these players do adjust to these drills, once these players do adjust to these positions, once these players become experts in these tight, compact scenarios where they are far away from the ball, knowing who's going to then come and connect that play right into the areas where we want it to be, that will come with time. Like, do you know why I like to reference PSG? Because we're not trying to mirror them stylistically the way we play, but we are trying to mirror the level of control they have over a game. If we done it before, like the way we done in a 4-3-3, where eventually low blocks was just the way to play against Liverpool, even when Slot transitions into the possession-based football, low blocks, breaking them down, near impossible. This new style of play in the initial stages have brought the red flags as well, as you say, getting caught over the top. Plenty of other things as well that you can cause with the pills up. That being said, I have seen this level of this type of football work before, and I think players like Wirtz, players like Ekitike, people will bring the arguments to me. Well, why hasn't he played Wirtz? Why hasn't he played Ekitike? Again, when you're transitioning into a season, you're going to have these teething issues on who plays, who doesn't, and whatever. But those signings tell me that's a style of football that will suit us better than the style of football you've referenced there, like the Man United game, for instance, 3-0, where it was a different approach. I don't think that approach would have been long-term sustainable for domination. I think a change was desperate, Mike. And I think that's why I'm trying to say to the supporters now, like, let's just see it out. If we don't see this improvement, and for you, I get it. Like, you've been saying,
I don't have an issue with other people's opinion. Like,
I know,
my stance has always been the same. I'm going to share mine, and whether I'm hostile about saying it, that's just because I'm from New York. But it's not a transgression against anyone personally. It's just the difference. The difference between me and you is that even if these players get in tune with the way I think Arne Slot's trying to play,
you still don't like the way.
I don't believe in it. I vehemently.
Do you think it's a limited system? Is that what you're saying? It's limited to the success we can get.
I think that you have two dull ends of a sword with this system. I think both ends are dull. I think that you're relying on individual brilliance at the front, and then you're relying on the other team missing their chances at the back. Because let's not make a mistake about this.
Yeah.
At the beginning of last season, I can think back to Ipswich Town, the first game of the season. They missed 2 one-on-ones before we scored a goal. If that changes and the other team is more clinical, I remember I went on Enz's show and I said that. I said, if the other team were more clinical, this would have been a different story. And they all looked at me like I was crazy, like I was saying something stupid. Like, what do you mean? Like, of course, if they were more clinical, they would have. But now all of a sudden, you're facing teams that are more clinical. And you're seeing the same. You're seeing the same type of transition.
That's the Premier League, isn't it? Like,
yes,
when you come
100%.
up against these teams, you're going to come up against threats. That's for sure.
So it's the same issue, and it's just I see a different way that we can play football that can be implemented so simply that brings the maximum out of every single one of our players. And I've already seen it at this club. But for some reason, for one reason or another, I'm not seeing it right now at Liverpool. I'm just not. It isn't being implicated. It was implicated against Bilbao in a preseason game, but for some reason, Arne Slot has decided to say, you know what, I don't want to do that, and it doesn't make any sense. That's why I'm so adverse to like calling out. Like, I don't want to sit here and talk about Wirtz or Isak or Salah. Yes, in their moments they have been poor, but how many moments do they get, and why are they poor in those moments?
Not Isak specifically, but I do think our attack gets quite a lot of moments to maximise it. I think our XG still represents like we can convert. And I think our issue last year to why we didn't convert more was because we all questioned the quality of the players and how, good they was at finishing.
Darwin sexuals were silenced.
You're damn right. I had 2 years worth of wars with Darwin sexuals, the Nunes sexuals, all in between. Barrage in my comment section on a regular basis. Have that, you frauds. Now he's struggling in Saudi Arabia and the fans want him gone. Have that. And listen, I had time for Nunes, but even Klopp said it on his podcast like that. It just didn't work out.
Yeah.
The point is the quality we've got in. And again, maybe I'm being a bit too metrics based. Maybe I'm being a bit too data nerdy. And I'll be honest, Mike, I've had to, because in the past, I've made the mistake of it completely ignoring the data, focus solely on what my eyes are seeing, and I've got it wrong because my eyes were seeing the current, they weren't seeing where it was going or what it likely leads to. That's why we ended up getting 97, 99 points, so on and so forth. Whereas if I look back at like the 17-18 season, there was still quite a few issues defensively. We got in Virgil, things improved, so on and so forth. The way I see it now, the defense, so we've kind of sacrificed our defensive stability for offensive sophistication, pretty much. And I think the issue is, Mike, like, and I don't know how to explain it without just sounding like I'm waffling, but it's like when one player makes that mistake, which isn't intended to be made within the system, it kind of fucks it all up. And
yeah. No, I hear you.
And I think the frustration just like it basically gets built when the players are still learning the choreography of the new style of play. Like, we must be prepared that the defensive validity, if you will, like, you've got to persist with it. New habits will become instinctual over time. The more drills that we do, we'll know when to actually trigger the right moments on when to pass, when to do this, when to press, so on and so forth. I think right now, while it's not ingrained in us, I think that's where we're going to struggle in the short term. And the reason on the long-term side of it, I think I can see it improving, is because from the board down. So I think as well, if you don't agree with the way Slot's trying to play, you don't agree with the way Edwards and Hughes have allowed him to play. They've sat down together, said, right, we'll make these signings based on the vision you have. We believe in your vision. Go for it. And that's why right now, it's not like they're shutting down contract talks, because they still believe in the vision.
Yeah, so it's quite the opposite. Quite the opposite. They're actually talking about extending him. So
yeah, exactly.
Quite the opposite.
So I've tried to just see it from their point of view. I've tried to look at the prioritized metrics that I deem to be prioritized, and how they kind of look at it and how they analyze it. And everything indicates that like we are going to get a lot better. And then everything also indicates that once we do get better, the system starts to flow more. The individual brilliance will rise above, but we won't rely on individual brilliance the way we have done. Everyone says it in the NAN. Mohamed Salah has been the main cause of success for us over the past 18, 24 months. And that's got to change. When you've got and you don't want that to change when Salah leaves. You want that process to begin prior to him exiting through that door. And that's what I think we're leading towards.
I just, when it comes to the metrics themselves, I'm hyperly cautious, because I believe that if you become too metrics based, you're not viewing the game as the game. Like when I'm looking at SofaScore right now, it's telling me that we had 2.75 XG and they had 1.34. I'm thinking to myself, what the fuck were you watching, dude? Like, dead ass. Because to me, Cody Gakpo hit the post once because of a deflection that was supposed to be a cross, once from outside the box after a brilliant first touch off the back of a world-class pass, once on a low percentage shot from the left side.
That still counts. Just because it was a great touch and a world-class pass still counts.
But what I'm trying to say is that I don't view...
I get it.
The only high percentage opportunity in my mind that Cody Gakpo gets is the header. That's it, because it's a wide open net. Mohamed Salah had himself one high percentage opportunity, of which he sliced it wide when he could have played it to Florian Wirtz or Alexander Isak. out of those, and then of course Alexander Isak has his one-on-one. So those are the three moments that I see where I'm like, okay, these could be good expected goals. Isak has to bury that. I'm sorry, Alexander Nunez. Like I said it on my stream yesterday. I paid 150 million so that if you get 3 chances, you bury 1. Like,
yeah, you're right.
I used to have a striker who got 8 chances and buried none. So
Yeah.
I'm looking for a little bit of better conversion.
Yeah.
When it comes to Cody Gakpo, it's a wide open net, dog. Like, just put it on target.
Yeah.
And he tried to miss his goal to Chiesa. It almost hit the post again. It hit the side netting from right in front. It's just, I didn't see anything. And then, I also think it just ignores, when you start viewing the stats, you then ignore, well, what about the chances that United had? Like, if Bruno Fernandes isn't an idiot and doesn't suck at football and hits the target, it's 2-0. Like, it's that simple. So, it just,
that's why I'm still acknowledging the defensive fragility that we do have, how that's a short-term sacrificial lamb, if you will, for the long-term benefits of the attack. And that I do think that the attack over time does gel better. And I think that's where we're going towards. I think the numbers are, and the numbers isn't in its isolation being used for my pleasure.
No, for sure.
It's being combined for the good moments that I've seen this season. There were spells against Bournemouth that I was impressed with. There were spells against Atletico Madrid where I saw the system at its core working pretty well. I've seen since then we've done fine in the possession metrics. I've seen since then we've done fine in the XG metrics. I know what you mean about some of those chances, but I do think there's a lot of games I'm going away from it and I'm going, Salah should have scored that. You know what I mean? Ekitike could have done better with that chance. Even Ekitike, who's been our most clinical player, I've still thought at times, what, probably could have converted that a bit better there.
Yeah, for sure. But
Gakpo's been the most disappointing by far, because
really,
he's got numbers. He's getting numbers, but like what you said about Isak, though the expectation isn't there, he's not converting as much as I would like him to, because I do traditionally view Gakpo as a bit more of an out-and-out number 9 type player, but he's just better at coming in off the left. But I think he's there to get numbers. And it's only Gakpo have a lot of the chances.
Yeah, okay, but my sentiment with Cody Gakpo is the same thing with Mohamed Salah. In the individual moments he's not being clinical enough. But when we stop isolating the final moment of the passage of play and we expand our view, I ask myself, how many times does Gakpo cut in? The left back doesn't bite, so he can't play the overlap, which means that Kirkes is making a false run, and he's got, if not 1, maybe 2 defenders in between him and the striker, therefore everyone on the right side of the pitch. So what is he left to do? Well, he's left to either shoot, continue dribbling, or pass back. The same thing goes for Mohamed Salah. It's just that Salah finds himself in more moments on the back post with something to be able to do. And some of those are because Florian Wirtz is a world-class player who plays a spinning back heel to him, to which he slices wide. It's just, I think right now, there's a lot of people that are hyper-focusing on the outcome of the passage of play, and they're not asking themselves what led to this outcome. And when you look at what led to the outcome, you think to yourself, well, he didn't have another choice in this scenario. Like, he's a cut-in and shoot merchant because all he can do is cut in and shoot. When you look at the second goal against Newcastle, Cody Gakpo is driving up the left-hand side. He cuts inside. There's 2 defenders in between him and Hugo Ekitike. He takes a shot, it deflects, it falls kindly to Ekitike. Ekitike hits it first time, it's a goal. There's no other outcome in that play other than Cody Gakpo shoot the ball. And 9 times out of 10, it doesn't fall to Hugo. And 9 times out of 10, Hugo doesn't just first time slot that in. But, because we scored, people don't want to look at that. Because it ended in a goal, no one wants to try to sit here and maybe I'm just a fucking nerd because I'm just a hyper perfectionist. And when I watch the club, I'm like Kobe. Job's not finished. There's always something to improve on. I'm not going to sit here. I'm not going to celebrate until I win the league by 20 points and I'm showering myself with 4 different trophies. Like that's just my purview. I just think we gotta it's gotta be 2. Like we can't say Mo is washed, but then ask ourselves, well, I mean, he doesn't have an underlapping and overlapping run when Dominic Szoboszlai is playing, and there's 40 yards of space in between him and where the ball needs to go, and he is 34 years old, and he is double teamed right now. So is he washed? Or no. He's just washed. He sucks. He missed
Yeah, I
the
don't
moment.
agree with that.
He's ass. He's ass. He missed the one-on-one. He sucks. I'm just like,
Yeah.
even if these moments rang true, and even if we converted these chances and we had these individual moments of brilliance, I feel like I would still be sitting here actually like streaming and saying the same thing.
Yeah.
Right? It's my frustration that even led me to putting up any content in the first place.
Yeah.
And now I'm just seeing it week in, week out, week in, week out. Also, big up TJ. Big up TJ. Fuck Arsenal. But big up TJ.
My man TJ Warren TV, big up to you, sir. Big up to you. Long time James Edmund subscriber is our TJ. My man. I agree with you, Mike. Do you know what? I actually think after talking to you, we agree on a lot more than maybe what we thought before. And as you said at the beginning of the stream, the fundamental goal is still the same. Like, you're saying what you're saying because you believe if we sustain this type of football, the likelihood of getting success with this type of football changes. I'm still on a slot in because I still think there could be a chance he changes it, but I'm just very curious to why he hasn't changed it yet. I'm guessing I might be putting words in your mouth as well there. Who knows?
I'm definitely not. I'm not Arnie slot out, but I'm Arnie slot DEFCON 5. I'm Arnie slot DEFCON 5.
That's why I've just said, I'm not Arnie slot out, but I'm waiting to see a change that I'm now becoming more doubtful isn't going to arrive in a way. Do you think he'll change it?
No. As much as I want him to, I think he had 2 weeks, and I did the math. He made £300,000 in those 2 weeks based on his salary. So he had 2 weeks and £300,000 to approach this game differently than how he approached Chelsea. And not only did he decide not to approach it differently, but he also decided to not even field the right side. Like,
no, that was the biggest issue. That was the biggest.
My big thing is that, okay, Arnie, if you want to play your way, let's look at the 2 games where you played your football the best. Everton and Atletico Madrid.
Yeah.
Why are you blowing smoke up my ass and telling me that Jeremy Frimpong isn't our best right back? Why are you blowing smoke up my ass and telling me that Dominic Szoboszlai should be there instead? Why are you not playing Hugo Ekitike? Why are you not playing Szoboszlai next to Gravenberch with Wirtz in front of them? Like, if you're going to stick to this, I guess my biggest gripe is, Arnie, if you're going to die by this sword, at least do it with some consistency. At least field the same thing, at least to put the same guys out there every week so that at the absolute minimum, there's at least some sort of sustainability in the suffering, right? Like, everyone who's suffering is suffering together. It's the same guys all doing the same thing. But when you constantly make these changes, and whether you want to say it's for a rotation or whatever, I don't really care, because how you start a game is the most important.
I do think it's for adaptation. I think it's about getting a whole new squad on board with a new philosophy. And I think that's why you're seeing, I know you're saying there's a lot of tactical errors that are leading to the decisions, but I actually disagree on maybe the volume you think that's happening at. I think a lot of the issues that are stemming from player mistakes because they're struggling to adapt to the new system. If that was to continue and Arnie was to sustain with it, I think then you're looking down a very Ruben Amorim type road where it's like, this isn't working, brother. Do you know what I mean? And if there was nowhere else where it could work, fine. But I've seen Enrique, implement a very different style of play at PSG, and it took him 18 months to get to the level that, like, I think you want us to be, almost, because I want us to be there as well. And I'm not saying, I'm better in mind, Slot's been in the job for a year, but then you've got to break that up and say very different squad.
Well, half of it was Jurgen Klopp's way. The first half of that season, he didn't make any changes.
Spot on. I agree fully, and that's why I think now, maybe I'm just viewing this as like a sort of, this is actually his first season, even though I'm not actually thinking of it that way. But I am establishing it's a new squad, it's a new coaching staff, it's a new way of playing, and a lot of the mistakes that I'm seeing are players hesitating to either pass the ball, to be the man in space, to be in the right position at the right time in the final third. That's why I think this is either one of two things, and one of them align with what you're thinking. The first thing, I'm thinking they're just struggling to adapt. The second thing, and this could be a possibility, Slot is terribly communicating the ideas to the players, or he's saying something completely different, and what I'm seeing is just guesswork. That literally has to be the options. It's got to be guesswork from the players, like, oh, should they go here, should they go there? That's why, like, maybe I don't know if you agree with this. Like, have you got a limit to what you can withhold? Like, obviously, if we lose to Frankfurt and we lose in a very certain way as well, you're talking very terrible stuff. Do you know what I mean? Like, even I at this point,
we're gonna get violent. We're gonna get violent if that happens.
Violence. I'll even get on board with the violence at this point.
Verbal,
you know what I mean?
verbal violence to everyone.
Massive verbal,
verbal violence.
Emphasis on verbal. Yes, verbal. Words, people. Words. First Amendment. You know,
my stance. Yeah.
Yes.
But
yes.
My stance before this Liverpool game is the same that it was before the Chelsea game. Before Chelsea game, I said this is the most important game of the season. 2 weeks passed, 300,000 pounds later, that was the most important game of the season against United.
I love the emphasis on the 300,000 pounds.
I did the math. That's just the Jew within me. But regardless, if I had seen the team performing and the results just weren't going our way, but the performance was there, and we lost these three games, I would be of a much different mindset. I would be sitting here and I'd be saying we're only 4 points back, and we lost 3 games. We're only 4 points back, and I just lost 9 points. Yeah. This is rectifiable. The issue is that the performances aren't there, and like, I hear what you're saying, because I do feel.
Do you not think sorry for interrupting? Yeah, do you not even think there's spells of good performances? Like, do you not see like encouraging signs throughout the game?
There are, but I haven't seen those in 4 games. Like against Atletico Madrid, against Everton.
You want to see it back to back.
Yeah, Okay, so my stance through the first 6 games of the season was every game we would have spells, and I would say, okay, I see the vision, I see what you're trying to do. It's just with time, the spell will get bigger and bigger and bigger. But now it's got smaller and smaller and smaller, and it's regressed rather than progress. And yes, at the end of the day, when it comes down to brass tacks, every goal that we have conceded, 9 out of 10 has been a stupid individual mistake. I'm looking at the Bournemouth goal right now, Antoine Semenyo's first goal. And it's like, the structure of the team is where I'd want it to be. There's a lot of guys around Mo, and Dominic Szoboszlai just tries to play a stupid fucking back heel. Just a dumb fucking play from a guy who shouldn't be so stupid. And, one pass is all it takes from that point. And of course, Andrew Robertson just doesn't have the legs to keep up with Semenyo, which is fine.
And shouldn't be put in that position in the first place.
And it's the same thing with the second goal against Manchester United. I that's the first time I ever did a watch along. And I literally said, Dominic Szoboszlai being put into a right back who isn't a right back. I watched him concede that space. Then he does well to block the shot. I said, as they went to take the corner, video evidence, go ahead, watch it for yourself, people. I said, watch them score. Watch them score off of this. And then right after he scored, I said, this is what happens when you put a right back in who doesn't play right back. He concedes such a silly run to then win a corner against a team that can't defend a fucking set piece. And then, of course, Ibrahima Konate's left on the back post, and everyone's going to sit here and they're going to talk about how weak he is physically, but then they're going to ignore the fact that there's 3 white shirts around him and Cody Gakpo deciding to just take off for a counterattack that isn't even there. So individual moments, they're killing us, but then we have to ask ourselves, if they happen this consistently, why do I keep seeing them? Why do I keep seeing them?
Yeah, and that's where my response would be, like the timing of things, players coming in at different times throughout the summer, players, little injuries here and there, like Frimpong and whatever, and that maybe stunts the growth. That being said, if Frimpong was fit, I don't even know if he still get these minutes. It seems like Conor Bradley's massively.
Bro, I feel so bad for Frimpong, bro. I know. There was that close up right after Gakpo scored. There was that because he was about to come on, and then Arnie Slot's down. I'm like, bro, what is this guy? What does our best right back have to do to get on the pitch? What does my best right back have to do to get on the pitch? And then Federico Chiesa. I mean, the simple fact the simple fact that the 4 guys you brought on injected 1,000 times more energy into the game than everyone else just shows
Jones every game this season has done that.
I fucking love him. I love Curtis Jones. Curtis Jones threw a fucking punch for me. Okay. Curtis Jones boxed it up at Goodison Park for me. I want him on the pitch because this area right here, this zone, like if there's anyone on our bench right now who will sit here if I tell him to fucking sit here is Curtis Jones. And that's all you need. All you need is Curtis Jones to not be Dominic Szoboszlai and be right here. If you're right here, look at how much that unlocks.
You'd even get more fruit off of playing Bajcetic there, really. Like,
bro, that's what I was saying.
Bajcetic would be able to do in that position.
What are the standards at this club now? What are the standards at this club that I'm asking for Stefan Bajcetic to come play? But
I'm just saying he could. If he was given the license of that role, he'd thrive, is what I'm saying.
Hold on. There's where is it? Where's the one where we played United? I'm gonna find it. Give me a second. I gotta turn this off.
Yeah, go.
Because Twitter's a dangerous place. All right, you can't just be
dangerous place.
You can't just be scrolling Twitter.
Nah,
but like, bro, like, look, ready? Like, so here, Curtis Jones would be. I mean, this is where Ryan Gravenberch thrives. Like, we have 5, and look, he gets just one turn. That's all it takes. One turn is all it takes. And then look, again, another moment where we're building up. We have 6, 7 people in our own half. Now, obviously, we're missing Luis Diaz because he's able to do something like this.
Yeah.
But there was one individual moment where I thought to myself, if that's Curtis Jones, I've got 1, 2, 3 players here. 1, 2. So I've got a 5. I believe this would make 6 because I think that's Trent right here, but you can't see him because of the white font.
Yeah.
I'm just not seeing this. I'm not seeing 6 in our own half anymore. And I think that Curtis Jones, again, it's got to be both. I mean, also, what a pass. Just a nutmeg. Swoop, see you later. But all of a sudden, like, Curtis Jones could be that guy. But in the same breath, I have to also say, Curtis Jones can only be that guy if you actually put the right players around him.
I agree
if we're building up with 5, and we've seen it against Bilbao in preseason with all of these players, we can do it. Now it's just about, all right, play Curtis and actually build up with 5. And let's see what happens. Because when you played him against, was it Galatasaray where he started? Mm-hmm. We were doing the whole 4-2-4 shit. And of course he failed. Because 2 midfielders are never beating 5 players. It isn't happening ever. I don't care if you're prime Barcelona. A 4-2-4 is
if there's a fire.
Even if there's a fire, a 4-2-4 ain't doing shit. Because in reality, our 4-2-4 turns into a 3-0-7. And you can't.
I agree wholeheartedly on the Curtis Jones inclusion. Absolutely. I think that's a player that's been overlooked for a while. I think people have looked at the outcome in certain games and gone, oh, he gave the ball away there. He held the ball on too long there. What you don't understand, a lot of the reason why Curtis Jones holds on to the ball at times it was stupid. A lot of the time it was needed. A lot of the time it actually benefited us because the players weren't moving around him. He finds a way to get to the players and link the play.
They're never moving, James. You get it. They're never fucking moving.
I've said this about Curtis Jones. Said this about Curtis Jones. He's somebody who will operate that midfield if you give him the license to, but he's not been applied or assigned a big enough role in this team for what I think he's aiming to achieve in his footballing career. I just don't. I know McAllister's great. I still do not get how Jones is not getting minutes, like any at all, because the drop off you see when McAllister starts in comparison to when Jones comes on. it's like an increase straight away whenever he's on the pitch.
It's like yin and yang.
Yeah, exactly. And do you agree with this? Like a midfield, I would like to see, whether it's short term, medium term, however long, Jones, Wirtz, and Grav. There's something that I just think operates well there when it comes to on the ball, and I think you're also less vulnerable on the ball when you've got that as your midfield 3. But I don't know. You could say it's 2 on the ball emphasis. But I just think that's what we need throughout the game. I think we need that one great performance to where it's like, okay, we can now put more pieces of the puzzle together to see the final outcome.
Well,
if not, what would change about that?
Where I will agree with you is that I think a lot of my perspective will change if I can see a performance of Arne Slotball that convinces, like a convincing Arne Slotball performance where we look fluid. Then I'd have a different perspective. I do think that Curtis Jones next to Ryan Gravenberch with Florian Wirtz would work if we actually build up with 5. Like if we keep it compact. I mean, Curtis Jones showed you he was the only midfielder in that whole fucking game that decided to say, fuck this, I'm gonna carry it myself. Fuck this, I'm going into the box, I'm gonna try to make something happen. Now, albeit his shot was scuffed, but I love the sentiment. Like, I don't care that you fucked that shot because you were the only one who was willing to say, I'm not doing this bullshit anymore.
Agreed,
I'm gonna carry it. It was the same thing with Hugo. Hugo picked up the ball on the halfway line. The whole front four ran away from him rather than presenting themselves as an option to him. And he goes, fine, you know what? Fuck it, dude. I'll rip it from 25 yards. So yeah, I would love to see Curtis Jones next to Ryan Gravenberch. I think Gravenberch is the undroppable, although I don't know how fit he is, and I don't know if he's going to play tomorrow because of that ankle issue. Jones next to Szoboszlai would be a double-edged sword, but you might end up seeing that tomorrow. I think the undroppable one, no matter what, Florian Wirtz has to play every game.
Agreed.
Every game, because
I'm also not on board. I was going to say, I'm also not on board with, like, Wirtz has been terrible. I'm just not on board with that. I'm not going to say...
How many fucking chances he's created?
I know. And again, like, you could have... Someone was arguing with me the other day, like, oh, that's just stats. But it's look at the quality of the chances that he's creating. Use your eyes and see the level of...
Watch the 29 minutes of the game against United after he comes on. Do me a favor.
Look at the amount of times where he doesn't have options. I'm not being funny or nothing, but the player's not coming in to give him options. It's
James,
at times.
James, I'm going to give you... I'm so happy you said that, because I don't know if you saw this still. Go on. I'm gonna bring it up against Chelsea.
Mate, I think we share similar sentiments. I think Florian Wirtz, for me, I think he's actually been decent. I won't go as far to say world class or anything, but if you do convert 4 or 5 of those chances he's created, then people are going to look at it very, very differently, aren't they? They're going to say, for a start, it's not too bad.
This is gonna right now. My diagnosis of this club, when I was talking about people look at the outcome and they don't look at the passage of play.
Yeah.
What I mean, first let's watch it, and then let's.
Who can they play that to with how deep Chelsea are? Who can they play that to right now? You've only really got. Is that
not even that? Yeah, not even that. Not even that, James. I've got Curtis Jones and Mohamed Salah in a jacuzzi together, surrounded by 3 blue shirts. I got Hugo Ekitike, Cody Gakpo's offside, and Robertson's out here for the overlap. Now, people are going to watch this and they're going to say, "Oh, heavy touch from Wirtz, he's shit." That's their conclusion right now. I mean, even if he hits this first time to the goal, what is the percentage? What is the percentage of that A, hitting the target, or B, going in? I'd say hitting the target maybe like 30%. Going in maybe like 10%, right? But what other option does he have? And then guess what? Even if his touch is perfect here, let's just pretend like world class, magnet on the foot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys all collapsing on him at the same exact time. Even with the perfect touch, Florian Wirtz doesn't have an option. And also it looks like Hugo Ekitike's foot could be offside. Curtis Jones is offside. Mohamed Salah has no impact.
There's a lot of positional issues there for sure.
And this is what I see constantly. I constantly see Florian Wirtz get himself into a position where you also have to ask yourself, well, what would happen if Ekitike were here?
Yeah.
What would happen if Mo were here? And what would happen if Curtis Jones were here? Well, automatically this spreads. This spreads these 2 defenders. I don't have an issue with either of these guys because Cody Gakpo is actually the one who played it to Florian Wirtz, so he goes offside. That's fine.
Yeah.
If Curtis Jones is up here, then either Cucurella or I believe it's Lavia would have to be further away, which means that Caicedo is the lone man trying to fight him along with Esteval trying to close in. If Ekitike is here, neither of these guys can close down.
Yeah.
Neither, because then I can just first time it in. But that's the big issue, is that people want to highlight Florian Wirtz and they want to say he's shit, but then they don't want to actually look at the fucking footage. They don't want to break it down. They don't want to analyze. They just want to say, you spent 115 million on 0010. And I'm like, okay,
it's
that's
150,
fine.
By the way, you got it wrong. It's 150 according to most online outlets and Twitter pages, if you say so. Yeah. 150 we pay for Florian Wirtz. Don't forget it, Mike. Otherwise, they'll correct you.
Bro, he's not.
I don't get it either. I don't get how you can watch that, like our games of football, and even when he's came on in the last 2 games, he's made us so much better. Not just him, but in general, I feel like we have got a shot of getting a few chances on goal now. But it's prior to him coming on.
What was our best half of football? Our best half of football all season, first half, Atletico Madrid. Should have been up 4-0.
100%.
Who's on the pitch? Florian
Wirtz
Wirtz
was great that day.
and Alexander Isak. And what did Isak do to Florian Wirtz? He set up Florian Wirtz for a one-on-one. And what did Wirtz do for Alexander Isak? He set up Isak for a one-on-one. Now, albeit that was like Isak's first real game for us. His fitness wasn't there. It is what it is. But listen, should Florian have done better in some of these one-on-one moments he's had? I feel like he should have scored against Arsenal. I feel like he should have scored against Crystal Palace.
That's why I'm saying he's been decent. I won't go overboard and say
he should have 5 assists though. He should have 5 assists. 100%.
I just can't jump on the bandwagon that he's been crap and he's our biggest problem and so on. So I just think that's absolute nonsense. And that's why for me, Florian Wirtz absolutely has to start. And that's where I will go at Arne Slot. I think his selections have been heavily questionable. I do think there's a shout for Ekitike to play on the left. I've seen all of his best moments come from the left-hand side. I don't care if throughout the game you have to, periodically change it, where if you want Wirtz to temporarily fill in the left while Ekitike does fill in a space in the middle, like for a 5-minute period throughout the game or a situation in a game. I'm fine with that, but get him on the left. I really think if you get Ekitike, Isak and Wirtz as the front three, will continue to get big chances and will at least be able to outscore the opposition despite our defensive fragilities. I think right now, though we're getting chances, the quality of those chances are far less when we've got players like Ekitike and Wirtz off the pitch. And that's why I was surprised to not see either one of them on the pitch. And people forget as well, if you want to be a numbers merchant, Ekitike got like mega assists last season.
But he was also playing alongside Marmoush. I mean, I agree with you.
Even when Marmoush left, he still got assists and his numbers actually went up because he became the main outlet, obviously. We saw that. So what he demonstrated at Frankfurt, he doesn't have to be the main outlet. He can support the main outlet, which was Marmoush. Marmoush played centrally. And then now we're seeing a case of, we have got a player so versatile. Slot said it himself, which is why I don't get why we haven't seen it, who can play on the left and play in the central. Now Isak's came in. We're probably going to see a bit less efficiency from Ekitike, but we will still see a much better creative aspect coming in from the left than if Gakpo was to start. And I like Cody Gakpo, but I liked Cody Gakpo as an outlet, one outlet. I think your front three should only have one outlet. I don't want to be seeing Salah and Gakpo playing at the same time week in, week out. That's just me. Maybe people will disagree. It's why I never wanted Nunes. I didn't want Salah and Nunes in the same team at all times. Because though they're great when you're on the counter-attack, in the 1 in 5 games that you get counter-attacks like that, they look like Messi and Neymar, just absolutely ripping teams apart. The problem is that's in a very 1% situation. Ekitike's the guy, man. He's someone who can unlock our left-hand side because I do think we're seeing the red flags of having Cody there week in, week out.
Yeah, no, listen, I am building what I would run, and then I'm going to see what your thoughts are.
Yeah, no. Is it a change of formation?
If I were the man in charge, it is. Yes.
Yeah. Is this what you're doing now? You're doing what you would do if you were in charge.
100%.
Cool. Yeah, no, I genuinely, they're probably the 3 biggest changes. I think the rest we agree on. Maybe we don't.
Well, I'm also doing it based on who is fit, because I know that Gravenberch didn't train today, so I don't think he's going to be. Yeah. I'm just getting McAllister in here, and then I have to. It didn't have the formation that I wanted to do, so.
I agree with Lasidi there as well, where they say I think Mo adapted his game to accommodate Nunes. He definitely did. He tried to take Nunes under his wing. It was weird, and at times you saw his performance drop off because of it. It was like he was prioritising Nunes being successful, and then Nunes just absolutely skied it over the bar. Salah could have 20 extra assists in his career if it wasn't for Darwin Nunes.
Salah could have had 35 assists in one season. If Darwin Nunes just had so this is what I would run. So I think right now, I mean, you could swap the position of which each of these guys is on. Maybe McAllister goes over here, maybe Jones goes over here. But I just think that personally, we need to run a 4-1-2-1-2. I think, or you need to run a 4-4-2. I think at this current moment in time, I need to see Isak and Ekitike on the pitch at the same time. I need to see Florian Wirtz in progressive positions. And if I play with this style, I'm compacting the middle of the field because I know Arne Slot has an obsession with building centrally. For some reason, he has a pure obsession with building up through the central channel of the pitch. If you're going to do that, a diamond midfield will offer you compactness and structure. Not to mention, I mean, Frimpong will be a little bit more free to be progressive. I wouldn't really want Andrew Robertson to be overlapping or underlapping or getting that progressive up the pitch. I'm putting him there because he's experienced and he can do a job, right? And right now, based on the current form of Milos Kerkez, I don't need rashness. I need certainty. Is it possible that he gets cooked for pace? Yes, but then I'm not going to blame him. I'm going to blame who allowed him to get cooked for pace. Right now, I mean, again, if Ryan and Gravenberch were fit, I would put Grav here, and I would drop McAllister, and I would put Szoboszlai next to Curtis Jones. But I think that this will bring out the most of the attacking players. Now, a lot of people are going to notice Salah's not on the pitch. I don't think he's going to change to a 4-1-2-1-2. It doesn't even have to start like this. Like, this could be your possession structure, and then of course, as all teams do,
exactly. In a build-up, I don't hate this. In a build-up, I absolutely don't hate this at all.
It's just like it frees up. I mean, if McAllister's on this side, then I'm more than happy to allow Frimpong to get here because I know that I believe in his pace to get back. And not to mention, it'll free up the legs of McAllister, right? Frimpong can also cover for McAllister because of his speed. Szoboszlai can cover for both of them. As we all know, he's a running merchant. That's what he does. He presses the W key. He's a W key warrior. I'm fine with that. And Florian Wirtz will have the options to play off both of them. I mean, this is a triangle I need to see.
Yeah.
This is a triangle that I must see.
Yeah, 100%.
If it came to, the traditional 4-2-3-1, I'd say put Chiesa on the right, put Florian Wirtz in the middle, put Ekitike on the left, and let it just be some sort of I also wouldn't be upset if Ekitike played in the middle and Cody Gakpo was on the left because I think Gakpo looks way better with Ekitike than he does with Isak. So if Gakpo's going to play,
Ekitike comes in more. And that's what I like about Ekitike. He provides options, kind of like that. The thing we were saying about Curtis Jones, he'll make himself available. It's what I like about Wirtz. He makes himself available. It's why you need these players on the pitch when you realise, and our problem is players making themselves available and willing to sacrifice themselves and actually get in the harm's way. For me, I agree with this. I probably wouldn't go with the formation per se. I'll probably stick to the.
If you want to change it, just tell me. 4-2-3-1. Okay, so who would be the double pivot?
So the double pivot for me, based on the availability issues that we've got, I would go with Szoboszlai and Jones. So Jones on the left, yep. And then I'd go with
Wirtz here.
So Wirtz in the middle, of course. I'm then going with Ekitike on the left, and I would like, and if we're going off current form, I would like Chiesa on the other side, because I just think I don't know what more a man needs to do to be given a start. And if he starts that game and he plays just as bad as Chiesa, like any chance you did have getting into the team, you haven't got no more, maybe. That being said, every time he's come off the bench, he has gave me everything I have wanted to see from a winger. Direct, creating chances, getting shots off a goal, opening up the defence, actually being a threat. Not just someone who can, like Cristiano Ronaldo for the past 5 years of his career, just gets there, gets the goals and gets in there for the biggest, the final moments, as you say. I want someone who contributes productively in the build-up. Now, the reason why I've gone with that 2 holding spot as well, again, I need Curtis Jones's control and composure in this current system. I need somebody who is going to be able to read off of the same hymn sheet as Florian Wirtz. I am so sorry. I know them. Mike, I don't know how much you play football growing up, but you have them friends. You just know, right, I am going to heavily link off of you today because that's going to maximise my performance. You get me more than the alternative does. I think Florian Wirtz looks at Curtis Jones and goes, you get me already. I don't think he looks at McAllister and says the same, for instance. I need that. And obviously with Gravenberch not being available, Szoboszlai, I just think suits the double pivot more in that position than McAllister does. I also agree with Robertson because, like you said, we already have enough liabilities, if you will, in our side. If you're going to continue starting Salah or whatever, and Salah continues playing the same, Kirkes is an absolute liability, And as you said, if Robertson gets caught out for pace, and I said this loads of times last season when he was getting slaughtered, look at the mistake before the mistake, if you will. I need someone who's assured, man. I need someone who can do a job, as you said. So I agree with the players. I just shift a couple of things around.
I vehemently agree. I think. Oh, oopsies! I didn't even realize I'm still on that. But regardless of that, I think Chiesa being here, what it really allows that I want to see Frimpong going up with Chiesa.
Yeah,
I want to
man.
see this combination.
That's
I want
danger.
to see a right wing that will actually play the overlap.
Yeah.
That will actually allow Frimpong to get dangerous. That's just what I'm not seeing right now. I'm just whenever Frimpong is on the pitch with Mohamed Salah,
and you can let Frimpong go. This is what I don't get, because you can let Frimpong go forward and not have to worry about the going back, because he's got the recovery pace. He can keep up with most wingers in the world. So if you're worried about getting caught off guard, the problem with Trent, he just didn't want to defend. I always said this with Trent. It weren't that he was a bad defender. He just didn't want to do it. He never had the agency to track back quick enough. Frimpong's got that agency and more. What was the game where everyone was like, "Oh, Frimpong actually can defend"? What game was that? Was it?
Every game, Frimpong has proved that he could defend. Frimpong has not made a single fucking mistake.
There was one game specifically where he changed the whole world's eyes on his defensive game. I can't remember.
Was it Madrid?
No,
or maybe he started against Madrid, started against Everton. You know what?
It might have been Madrid, to be honest with you. It might have been. But yeah, I think you're right. It could have been Madrid. Either way, there was a game where people were like, "Well, we can defend," and I was like, "Have you only just noticed that like anybody who wants to defend actually could be okay at it?" You know,
he's a great defender. Like this fucking total fucking bullshit that Jeremy Frimpong can't defend. Total
Mike, do you
fucking
see, like,
bullshit.
The sort of risk of making him an overlapping fullback is then nullified by the very pace that he can use to track back if the ball gets given away, for instance, or whatever. That recovery pace is a huge weapon. I don't think people realise this.
Wait.
Especially if we're giving the ball away.
I've just noticed a crime against humanity.
Go on.
An absolute crime against humanity. Jeremy Frimpong hasn't even played 90 fucking minutes in the Premier League.
No.
60 plus 3 is 63, plus 16 is 79, plus 5 is 84. That is a disgrace.
In some of those games, it was needed. In some of them games.
Right now, there is not a better right back at this football club. There is not. Like, I'm sorry.
I don't think there's a better player in that position, is there? Like, because I think people forget with Frimpong, he has achieved so much in the game. Like, he's just used to playing at a high level. City's academy, Bayer Leverkusen, goes to Celtic, wins the treble, goes to Bayer Leverkusen, goes invincible. Like, that guy is just used to winning. He knows how to play in a winning team. He's got the competitive spirit and he's got the attributes. This is what I don't get. He's got the attributes to play week in, week out right now. He's not one of them you need to build into the system.
He just needs to. What he needs to do is he needs to play Frimpong there consistently, because not only is he my just out and out the quickest player on my team, he's the only guy that can do an overlap and then have the pace to get back. So he can offer me going forward and he can offer me going back at the same time in the same scenario. I think this is somewhat true. Southampton completely flipped slot, but unfortunately, the whole fucking team looked like shit. We ran a double pivot of fucking Endo and Yoni. Did you fucking watch that game?
You wouldn't be able to use that game. If Slot used that game as an example, I'd laugh at him, because I'd be like, did you not see the things you decided to do in that game? Don't know. I question Slot a lot on that one.
It's not fair to Jeremy Frimpong, the way that he's been treated. And I think that he is, without a doubt, the best right back at the club at the current moment, one of the best players at the club at the current moment. And I need to see him consistently get a run of games. Otherwise, what's the fucking point?
What's the fucking point, man? No, I agree. I think Frimpong's a G. My G.
So are there any other changes that you would make? Or actually, I guess maybe what do you
Yeah.
think Slot is going to do?
Yeah, do you know what? I'm actually glad you asked that. So when I was doing a piece the other day, I was writing it down because I've been getting more into me writing, to be fair. And that was one thing I was trying to sort of analyze. I was like, right, if Slot's going to change this, what is he most likely going to do? And let me just pull it up for you here. Just give me a second.
Sure.
Because I was really thinking about it, and I was thinking, like, what are the tweaks that we need to do? A lot, and by the way, a lot of this, I'll just summarize it because it's just like long writing, but a lot of it is
You can be
refining.
as in depth as possible. I don't mind.
Yeah, so like, I'm sorry, just re-clarify the question for me. Are we talking build up? Are we talking
No, so
defensively?
I
Or
guess so. Tomorrow,
yeah,
A, how do you think he's going to set the team up?
yeah,
B, who do you think Slot is going to play? Not what you want, what you think
yeah.
he's going
Who,
to do.
who do I think he's going to go with? See, I can't predict Arnie Slot at the moment. I can't. The way he's playing, I think it's just going to be along the lines of what we've been seeing. My hope, and call me stupid, but I do think we get to see Frimpong. I do think we get to see Ekatike, and I do think we get to see Wirtz. And my hope is when he sees them together on the pitch, and also Curtis Jones, my hope is we start to see some positive changes from that point forward and a bit more faith being put into those players. Because what we're going to see if those players start is more fluidity. And we're also going to see that right-hand side appear a lot more protected than what it has been with the rotation of Soboslai and Bradley. That's just a fact. The biggest thing with Frimpong, the risks he brings with going forward, he fixes with his pace going back. His recovery pace is the best in the league. Like, let's not call it anyone else. He is the guy. He has got that Kyle Walker level of pace. He just might not have that level of defending, but his defending's competent enough. The way I think he sets out tomorrow, though, and in terms of lineup and whatever have you, obviously you've got Gio in goal. You've got, I could see Robertson playing because of the rotation aspect. I do think Frimpong will get a game because, as you said, his minutes have just been non-existent recently. I do think Virgil and Kanate still gets the nod. Don't rule out a rotation for Kanate, but still think he plays.
Yeah.
Midfield, I don't want this, don't want it at all, but I think it's going to be McAllister and Jones. Jones, I've already said, but there's something about McAllister at the moment that, again, just that liability aspect, similar to Kirkes. I look at him and I go, you're hindering me here. Like, if I give you the ball, I'm worried. You know what I'm saying? And if I'm on the ball, are you going to be there? I don't know. In the 10, I'm going with Florian Wirtz. Oh, sorry. I think he will go with Florian Wirtz. And then I think he's going to stick with Salah. I think he's going to go with Isak up top.
Yep.
And now you've got me. Because it very well could be Gakpo again. But, see, no, I think it'll be Gakpo. But then, where do you get Ekatike again? Do you rotate Isak? But then does that make sense as he's just started finding his minutes again? This is the ball you start to roll. It's great to try and keep your players fit. But when you're taking players off at 60 minutes constantly and you're trying to get fair minutes for everybody, this is the issue that you run into. Is like, Ekatike hasn't started a good few games now. We need to see any games of significance. We need to see him starting because we played our best football. We won our matches when Ekatike was playing in the game. We looked better on the ball when Ekatike was playing. Them low blocks that teams do against us, we find easier to break down when Ekatike plays. So I would like to see Ekatike in the middle and Isak dropped tomorrow specifically because he needs a game. And I don't think Slot's going to play him on the left. I don't know why he's not doing it. He's even said before he'd be open to the idea and he's just choosing not to. So yeah, I think I'm going to change the Isak one. I think he'll go with Ekatike for the rotation reason. But then that further establishes he's number 2, which I don't like. I want him to be next to Isak, not behind him. And then I think he'll go Gakpo on the left. Gakpo's just not getting dropped anytime soon, bro.
I'm going to make a bold prediction.
Go on.
I'm going to make a bold prediction. And I'm going to predict that I will reach DEFCON 6 tomorrow because this is what I think we're going to do. I think this is the starting 11 that you're going to see. I think Arne Slot's going to ask himself, I need Florian Wirtz on the pitch, but I can't drop Dom, and Gravenberch isn't healthy. So Dom, you played in the 10 all season. Get right back in there, buddy. Rotational purposes, Frimpong has I believe started both Champions League games. I think for some reason Arne Slot is looking at cup games and Champions League games and saying, Frimpong, these are for you. So I think Frimpong will start. We'll get that. Unfortunately, I think that Slot has become a bit of a coward, and I think that he will not drop Mohamed Salah. I think that he will let him continue to stink up the pitch on the right-hand side. I think that Alexander Isak, he already talked about in his post-game presser, or I think it was the international break, the pre-game presser, that Isak is now expected to be fully fit, ready to go. I think you're going to see Isak in the middle. And this is the overall structure that we will see. And I think that we will see the same fucking thing that we did the last 4 games, the last 5 games. We're going to see the same slow, lethargic build-up. We're going to see the same 3 at the back trying to build up out of the press. McAllister's going to find himself in 2v1s. Curtis Jones is going to find himself in 2v1s. Maybe I'm being overly pessimistic, but at this point, based on what the manager has done so far this season, this is what I'm predicting. And this, to me, just looks like hell. This looks like fucking hell. This looks like eye bleach.
I get your pessimism.
And it's away from home. And it's away from home. And we've been fucking dreadful.
Have you seen how bad they've been? Have you seen how many goals they've conceded this season? Like, we should do the work with these.
But they beat Galatasaray 5-1. So I don't know. Everything's off the table. Everything's off the table. I have no expectations. This is the wild fucking West. Gun from the hip, dude. Gun from the hip. All right. I've got a gun to my head and I've got a draw. So I got to make sure that
a European Liverpool versus Tottenham, isn't it? Really?
Oh my God. It's going to be fucking eye bleach, bro. I'm telling you, this is what is going. I'm 99% sure. The only thing I think that would change out of this starting 11 is this could be Ekitike. This is the only one where I don't have absolute certainty. But we've already seen Wirtz here. Lord knows, K-Mac will tell you, this is Wirtz's hot zone, right? Like the quadrant 23, this is where he lives. I don't think he's shown the gall to be able to drop Mohamed Salah. But if I see this, I better see a fucking 4-0 exceptional perfection run. I better see 0 chances conceded, 0 shots on target conceded. I better see 99% possession, 500 shots, 1,600 goals. Like, it better be the most dominant fucking performance in history if he decides to play this starting 11. Because based on, what I will say is that if he does drop Salah, that tells me that he understood that he's undroppable versus United, but now we're back to factory settings. He can be dropped. That'll give me some confidence. Even if Wirtz is on the left and Isak is up here, if this is Chiesa, all right, I'm in a different headspace. I don't see how he drops McAllister with Gravenberch not being fit. I mean, like, how else would I even? I guess maybe the only other realistic thing. Yeah, Szoboszlai here, Wirtz here, and then this is Cody Gakpo.
Yeah.
But even then, I'm still not happy. If this is Cody Gakpo, I'm still not happy. It's like, to me, this is the most defining position right now in the way that Arne Slot wants to play. And this would be the second most in terms of just personnel.
Yeah.
Because with the way he wants to play, Mo just isn't being effective enough. But we'll see. I don't know.
We got to hope for the best. I think where I'll sort of summarize it is that we do still have to see drastic improvements. I am always happy to give the benefit of the doubt if I feel like the context supports it. Which in this very moment, as of the 21st of October 2025, I think it does. I can be sympathetic. I can let off some things. And again, I think, as you've said as well, I think you said it earlier to Jamie, a big reason why you don't want Slot to be sacked is because we just don't have that solution, do we? We don't have someone to come in. And I like that way of thinking because that's what I'm asking everyone. I'm like, you're all saying you want someone to be sacked, but you're not giving me any solutions. You're not giving me any alternatives. Do you want us to just go into a cycle like Man United? Arne Slot has got a big job to prove. People like yourself, not wrong, but to almost prove what you think Liverpool should be doing, or almost, like to be like, okay, I've seen my manager make the changes necessary to win this game. I can now see something going forward. And this all comes down to the tweaks he makes in this system. If he's going to die on the hill with this system, I'm fine with it. But we need to see the tweaks and we need to see the right lineups. If we don't get them two things right, unfortunately, you're going to keep dropping down the barrel. And that's where people like yourself will have been vindicated in what you've been seeing. And people like myself will be looking at it and going, well, I don't think you had the resilience I thought you did as a manager, almost. Because I do believe he's gave me examples to see that. And a lot of that's the way I base a lot of my opinions. What have you shown me periodically for me to have confidence right now? If I was in the board seats right now, am I going to sack you tomorrow? No, I won't, because you've shown me enough. If this continues, I'm sorry, it justifies what everyone's currently saying. So it's a big job for Arne Slot. Jamie said it earlier, the pressure's mounting. I want to see how he does under pressure. That's going to be a big indicator to me if he can be a successful Liverpool manager long term. And I also want him to get the balance right of stubbornness. I don't mind you sticking to your principles. I almost want you to do that, because then it means you're showing me you've got confidence in what you're trying to build. If you change it, then I lose that confidence. However, the tweaks are necessary.
I mean, what I'll finish on, because I want to be respectful of your time, and I got to get my day going too. But regardless,
I'm going to have a scran in a minute. That's the only reason. But
yeah.
Otherwise, I'll be on here for however long, mate. I'll even come on if you're doing another show soon after the game. Give us a show.
Listen, I'll probably end up going live after the game tomorrow. Maybe I'll go live during it. I don't know. We'll have to see how we're playing.
If we're after the game, definitely. I'll be in tomorrow.
If we're down at halftime, trust me, I will be on for the haram along for the second half. But regardless, it cannot be understated the importance of this run of fixtures. You have Brentford, who have been a bogey team for us. You have Crystal Palace, who have just beaten us twice. You have Aston Villa, who's going to be a difficult game. Then Real Madrid, followed by Manchester City away.
Yeah. By the time we get into Real Madrid City, you need points. You need wins.
This is the pivotal moment of, it already was. Yeah. But now I'm in the status of I'm just fucking shifting it. Let's go. Let's just keep pushing it, I guess.
Yeah.
We don't have another option. The only way I see the board even questioning Arne Slot is if we're more than 10 points back at the turn of the year. If we're more than 10 points off Arsenal come January 1st, 2026, then we'll start to see those conversations rumbling. But this is the pivotal moment. You need to show me something different, whether it's style of play or personnel. I agree with you. If you're going to die on the hill, at least die on the hill the right fucking way.
Yeah.
But we'll see. We'll see. An hour before, I'm sure if I dislike the lineup, I'll be sending texts left and right.
I'm ready. I'm ready for them now. I feel like we've therapeutically attached in some way this season. We've worked well with each other. You know, you've brought me to the side of like, James, come on, look at what this shit is. I'm like, come on, Mick, we've got a little bit more positive just internal situations going on.
As I always like to end every stream, to everyone who's watching, just remember, formulate your own opinions. Watch the games. Do me a favor. Tomorrow, I asked you before at Manchester United, take 10 minutes. Don't watch the ball. Watch everyone who doesn't have the ball, and then come to me and tell me, Mike, you're smoking crack. Okay? That's all I want you to do. Watch the game for yourself. Analyze it. Don't look at the ball. Look at the structure. Look at the off-ball movement. Formulate your own opinion, and then go to YouTube, and then listen to what other people say, and don't just regurgitate opinions, because we need to see something different, and it needs to be tomorrow. But other than that, I'm never going to sit here and predict a loss. So James, what is your prediction for the score? And then I'll let you run.
Do you know what? I'm going to go for it, mate. I'm going for a turnaround. I don't know why. I just couldn't imagine in August we could be this bad for this long. So I'm going to say 3-0. I'm going for it. Imagine me saying a clean sheet for the mighty Liverpool Reds in the form that we're in. 3-0. Against a team that scores loads of goals, by the way. 3-0.
I'm going to go with I'm going to say 2-1, and I'm going to say that we go up 2-0, give away a goal. we give away a goal
for the rest of the game.
Yeah, we give away a goal, and it's blood pressure medication settings. That's what I think this game is going to be.
And because you've got the principle of not choosing us to lose, that almost indicates that could be a draw by the end. I
have said it, and I will say it again. You will never, ever, ever hear Mr. Das say any prediction other than a win. I will not ever, just for the pure purpose of manifestation, even though I have no effect on this club. Even though I have no effect on this club, I will never ever predict anything but a win for this club, whether that's to my benefit or to my detriment. Just not the kind of person I am. I demand excellence. I need to see it. Hey, big up Hussam joining at the very end. Too little, too late, big guy. Too little, too late.
You missed the fireworks, Hussam.
You're just too late. You see, we were able to find common ground and have a civil discourse over what's going wrong with Liverpool without screaming at each other and saying, Mo shit, Arnie's a bald, you know what. Just certain things I'm not going to repeat in public.
Yeah, we don't bully each other the way you bully Tom Little, Hussam. You see what I'm saying? Like, respect on this platform with the black background. You know what I mean?
Hey, listen, we got there is no media team here. There is no production team. It's low-end production. Hold on.
You want to for that reason?
You want to know what my you know how Hussam you know how Hussam will start a stream and he'll get the little intro. This is my That's it. I just leave that screen for like a minute.
I was like, the intro.
No. There's just none. There is no intro. It's just a black screen, and then I'll come on at like
don't ever do
1 minute.
Don't ever do one, otherwise Hussam and Tom Little will maybe threaten your life in a non-verbal way. Right?
I'm working on getting a thumbnail made, but I told the guy, I'm like, I want it to be the same thumbnail for every video. I want it to be the most simplistic thing ever, and that's it. But so just a thumbnail. I can't be bothered with any of this shit.
No.
Like, I don't give a fuck if it's a black screen. Who cares? What good is a background going to do for me here? If Ekitike's face was just right there, because that's who it would be, because he's my boy.
It's not like the better the thumbnail, the more you get pushed into the algorithm or anything. Yeah, no, I get it.
We're just here for therapy. This is so that we can get all of our thoughts out.
I said
and then I don't have to think about it.
Chat, Mike's using YouTube for the perfect reasons. He comes on YouTube, he says all the shit he needs to say, and he just goes off and doesn't need to think about it anymore. That is he's discovered it before he's became famous. That is the prime way to do YouTube. Best way.
It's got to be. It's very cathartic. Also,
you're using the system against it.
There is no underdog gimmick, bro. Like I'm just here to go live and say my thoughts. That's it. That's literally all it is. It's not an underdog. I'm not a leopard in the tree. You know, I'm not gonna sit here and wait to pounce on the gazelle. I'm just a guy from LA who doesn't know football, who talks into his computer.
Who's very negative. He's very negative.
Yeah, I'm very negative. I'm so negative. I'm so negative that we stop a panel for an hour and we talk about how negative I'm being. And then 2 days later we lose and we say, hey, he wasn't being that negative. But big up Hussam. Big up the rest of the people in the chat. I'm gonna let James Redmond go. I gotta start my day. Thank you for being here. Appreciate your time. Appreciate your willingness to speak. Everyone, have a good rest of your day. Watch the game tomorrow. Think about it. Think about the game, people. Watch the game. Stop watching the ball. Watch the game of football. Don't watch the ball. This isn't ball watching settings. We're not playing Rocket League. Play the game. See you guys. Take care.